With that said, let's get started with Personal Development Monday here on the show. And my very first guest, her name is Bilha Wakam, and she's an etiquette, she's a trainer rather, and consultant at the Etiquette Center. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
I'm honored to be here.
Good. All right. So we want to talk about phone etiquette today. It's something that we typically don't maybe discuss, maybe not even think about. And while it may seem kind of obvious, the way you answer phone calls is actually very important, okay? Even as far as positioning yourself. It's very easy to slip up and accidentally speak to someone based on your mood at the time, rather than remembering this could be a potential client, a potential employer, and all of that good jazz. And so that's what we want to talk about today. When you think of phone etiquette, Bilha, what would be like your number one tip that people need to remember about phone etiquette?
Most importantly, something that everyone, almost all of us, forget is that the person you're talking to behind the gadget, there is a person behind the gadget. You are relaying a message. Anytime you're using the phone, there's a message you're relaying. So you keep that in mind. When you keep that in mind, it's easy to be on check. It's easy to do the right thing when you always remember that behind the gadget there is a person, there's a human being.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the things that a lot of people sort of tend to neglect is how they should answer the phone. Before even the phone, you pick it up, this when it's ringing. You know, kuna wale like akisimu inaweza lia sijui mpaka saa ngapi.
True.
Right? And they're like, yo, I need to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Is there sort of like an etiquette as far as like how long you should let the phone ring?
True, there is. Actually, the phone shouldn't ring more than 3 times. Don't let the phone go 3 times unanswered.
Not more than 3 times.
Not more than 3 times.
Actually, even for me, if I'm calling someone, like especially if you're wanting something, if I call like and it rings 3 times, I'll hang up and I'll wait for you to
get back.
Yeah.
And most people actually don't. And now you see there's a problem with that when you don't also get back to missed calls as soon as possible.
Yes.
But it is important. Within 3 rings, you should be able to answer your cell. Or if it's in a corporate kind of setting, within 3 rings. And another thing is people always forget about this, but then the receiver, the one who's receiving the phone is the one to hang up.
Yes.
So when you don't call and hang up, the one who receives will talk to you, and then as a caller, you let them hang up.
Right.
But on the other hand, we just call people, relay a message, and quickly hang up.
Yeah.
But that's not how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's supposed to be the other way around.
Okay. If you're calling someone that you don't know, maybe you're sometimes you're doing like a cold call where you're just calling numbers. You're trying to find new business. You're trying to find, a potential employer or employees. Is it wrong to ask the other person on the other name their name before you tell them yours? Who should introduce themselves first? Ni wale watu wa spam. You know those people who call you ati, unaitwa nani? And I'm like, you're the one who's called me.
Yeah, that's rude. That's
Very
absolutely rude. What the best way to go about it? When you're calling someone who you don't anticipate that they have your number, it's very important when they answer. Mostly it's obvious that they'll go hello, then you go like, this is Bilha.
Yes.
I'm calling you from Etiquette Center.
Yes.
It's the best way to do it. You introduce yourself as a caller because you're anticipating this person probably doesn't know me.
Right.
But also as a receiver, when you're getting a number that you likely you don't know this number, it's not on your phone, it's not saved. I'll receive and say, hello, this is Bilha. Who am I speaking to or who's calling?
That's what you do?
Yes.
Even when it's a number you don't know?
Yes.
You're nice.
Yes.
I don't. I have a voice for numbers I don't know. The one I'm like, yeah, hello. Like, I just, because you never know who it is, but
it always happens. I 2 days ago I was calling a friend of mine and I was using my office line because I didn't have access to my cell phone, and when she answered, she didn't want to talk fast. She was quiet. Then I'm like, you are afraid of saying hello because you don't
Kenyans,
know.
we always have a conspiracy theory. That's the thing.
Yeah, but a proper etiquette, if you don't know who's calling and they've not introduced yourself, this is Bilha, so who is on the line?
Okay.
So that it's just a way of introducing. The way you introduce yourself to someone in the streets,
Yeah.
The same way you do with the phone. Introduce yourself. Say, this is Bila. Who's calling, please?
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an important point you're raising, because even just by that, your tone alone makes you sound like a very bright person, a very like cultured person.
Yes.
And so I think because we're on the phones, we think that they can't see me, so they can't judge, my body language or
True.
what I'm like. But there's so much that, without even seeing someone, that your voice, your tone can really relay to someone.
It does a lot. The best, actually, the tip I give everyone that I teach about etiquette: when you're answering the phone, be calm and let your voice be delightful. Don't sound that you're panicky, you're
Yeah.
anxious, you're afraid. Not that. Your voice should be calm and delightful, so that it's more welcoming. And again, it doesn't sound too serious, right? So that the other person is free to communicate whatever it is that they want to communicate.
Sure.
And also the body language. For instance, let's say if your boss is calling you and you're lying in bed, you'll go like, oh, hi,
Yeah.
you get. But then now, when it's just like a friend, you want to lie on the bed and roll and as you talk.
Yeah.
So the body language really matters. Mostly when you're seated up and you're talking on the phone, your voice is more calmer, more
Right.
delightful when you're seated up.
Right.
So that body language is good. When you're walking, you look like you're in a hurry. It sounds,
Yeah.
it will,
Nokoko unahema kwa simu.
yeah, your voice comes from your body. So
Yeah.
then as you walk, so if it depends with how you want to communicate. If
Sure.
you want to communicate, I'm in a hurry, let me call you back, you can pick while you're walking. But then if that's not what you want to communicate, sit down, be calm, then answer the phone or call.
Okay, but Bill, be very frank with me. What do we do? There are those calls you just don't want to take,
Yeah.
or people you don't want to talk to on the phone.
Yeah.
What's the best way to handle? Do you just keep like disconnecting the call? Do you send those messages for sorry, can't talk now? Do you just ask them to text? What's the best way to handle certain phone calls, especially if it's someone maybe you're not even sure how they got your number?
Yeah.
There are people who can really spam you with some phone calls.
Yeah.
How do you handle those situations?
The best way is actually not to avoid them. Don't be hanging up.
The ones we save as do not pick.
Do not pick. No, it's not, because there are some people, they get excited by the fact that every time they call you hang up. They want to keep on doing it. It's like,
It's a game.
yeah, they want to keep doing that. So the best way, we just a relaxed, calm tone. Say, I do not wish to communicate with you right now.
Okay.
Let me call you when I am ready to talk to you.
Okay.
And when you use a serious tone that is calm, the other person on the other hand also understands.
Right.
Yeah, so then calm, actually the tone really communicates a lot.
Yeah.
There is, like we started, when we started, I said, there's a person behind the gadget. So they will, from the tone, they will understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me read some feedback here. Mwangi wa Shamata on Facebook says, when someone calls and won't speak before you speak, what does that really show?
That's mannerless.
Mannerless, she says.
Yeah, when you call someone, you have to be ready. You have to be ready, because automatically the receiver picks and says hello to show you that they're
there.
ready. They're
Yeah.
ready to listen. So you should be ready to communicate, ready to say who you are, what you want.
Okay, let's talk about a few things very quickly, because our time is quickly running out
Yeah.
here. But when you're in a public space and your phone is, first of all, when you're in a meeting, put your phone on silent, right?
sure.
Like that's
For
just
sure.
basic
For
manners.
sure.
So then if someone does call you and you're in sort of like a meeting space, is it appropriate to pick up the phone and whisper, "Niko kwa meeting"?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Or do you walk out? Do you excuse yourself? Every time, there are people who it's like they have to pick up the phone when it rings.
I
And they're
understand.
in and out of the room. It's very irritating.
I understand that, but Joyce, what people should learn, that everyone should learn, that the person in front of you is more important than the person that you're not seeing. The most
Right.
important person is the one in front of you.
Yeah.
So when you're going for a meeting, phone off. Let everyone know I'm going for a meeting. I'll call you back after the meeting. Put the phone silent after the meeting, call back. A date, do the same. Restaurant eating, don't eat with your phone on the table. Don't. Put the
Okay.
phone away.
Okay. the same person, Wangi Washamata, also says, I'm fond of talking too loudly on the phone without me knowing it, and like I'm hurting people around. What's the best way to change that? Certainly, volume. There's some people who have such high volume when they're talking on the
True,
phone.
true. First, if you're using earphones, stop that, because
Yes.
earphones have a way of making you speak louder than you would have.
Normally.
Yeah, earphones. Then you have to be conscious all the time. The tone, always remember it's someone you're speaking to. It's just the way I'm speaking to you,
Yeah.
right? The same volume is the
Yeah.
way you use on the phone.
Like the rest of the world doesn't want to know your conversation.
Yeah, they'll hear if, unless the phone is having a problem, they'll definitely hear what you're saying, even if
Sure.
you're whispering.
Sure.
But it's not good to whisper.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, well, doing phone calls, don't go hush, hush, hush. No, proper tone.
Okay. What about loudspeaker? Okay. If there's a pet peeve I have, it is those people who insist on talking on their phones on loudspeaker in public. What's that about, Vilha?
That's I think it's because most of us are not really educated. These phones came from the West, and because actually it's loudspeaker. It's not right at all. The only time you're supposed to use a loudspeaker, let's say if you're in a meeting and there's a conference call, perhaps you can put it on loudspeaker.
Yeah.
But apart from that, when really many other people should listen,
Yeah.
are supposed to listen, that's when you use a loudspeaker.
Okay.
But personal phone calls shouldn't.
Okay. And then active listening, very important, so that you're not constantly having to repeat yourself on the phone.
Actually,
Pay attention.
being distracted is something that makes people go, pardon, because you answer the phone and you still want to do other things as you're on the phone. Makes you go like pardon all the time, and you fail to communicate, or you irritate the other person on the other end. So the most important thing is, when you're on the phone, be on the phone. Stop.
Yeah.
You're writing, you want to do other things, unless you're taking notes.
Right.
So because you're listening as you take notes, that's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. To some of the SMSs coming in. Hey Joyce, you're looking lit today. Wow, thank you. That's Anastasia watching us from Namanga. Ni engineer Meshak showing a bamba nikiwa Ruaka. Asante sana Joyce, thank you for that. Someone else says, Bilha, I support the etiquette thing, but your part here, the recipient ndio anafaa kukata simu. Credit itaisha kwa simu. Most people just put back their phones. They don't mind if you're still off or on. And that's true. I think there are people who they wait to have people call them, and the person hasn't even been able to get through what they're saying. Well, they ask you, how are you, as a courtesy, and you've told them about last week, you've told them about the weekend, na credit yao inaisha too.
Yeah. What he's saying is actually true, but thank you for having me. So now they get to know these things. People get to understand. We don't change the rules. Actually, it's the receiver that should hang up, and the receiver should say like, oh, okay, so then, oh, have a good one, and they hang up, right? Or the caller can also insinuate like, okay, so that's all.
Yeah.
And also, you never say goodbye if you're a customer care. Let's say if you're in a corporate setting, don't tell clients, okay, goodbye. No, it's rude. So you never tell people goodbye if you're in a professional setting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you just...
What are you supposed to say?
Is that all? Or is there something
Okay.
else? Then if they say...
So you keep asking, is there anything else?
Yes,
you
because
address
in a
it?
professional setting, you want to assist.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very good to know. Someone else here was saying, hey Joyce, my response to a new number is always, who is this? At least I've learned something new today, they say. Someone here asking about how they can contact Etiquette Center. You're going to be telling us that shortly. And finally, as you do tell us about your contacts, someone here is asking, a person calls me and I feel he or she sounds rude. Can I hang up?
No.
Don't do it.
No, don't hang up. Whether you're calling or receiving a call, don't hang up.
Okay.
Don't hang up unless you feel like you're being threatened. There's
Right.
someone threatening your life. Then you're like, I'm going to hang up. I'm afraid.
Okay.
But usually, if it's your phone, just say, I don't like this kind of communication.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we can't speak now.
Yeah.
Okay. Give us your contacts, my dear.
Oh, okay. www.etiquettecenter.co.ke. Phone number is 020-2000-509.
Great.
Yeah.
Bilha, thank you so much for coming on to Full Circle.
Thank you for
with us.
having me.
It was great talking to you today about phone etiquette. Who knew there was something as phone etiquette? But hopefully you guys have learned something new today. With that said, we're going to take a short break now. As we get ready for our next discussion, this is Full Circle with Joyce. Stay tuned.